What's going on? It's Ollie here. Today's video, I want to talk about something a little bit scary. How do you avoid getting your Amazon account shut down permanently? There's a few things you can do to make sure this never happens. To be honest with you, to actually get your account shut down permanently, contrary to popular belief, what people talk rubbish about on Facebook and forums, it's actually a pretty tough thing to do. Like, Amazon don't just randomly shut you down for no apparent reason, except for in maybe a very, very small, minute number of cases. And let's face it, the people who got their account shut down probably didn't, disclose all of the details of the things they did, right? So you haven't really got to worry about this. Like, in the beginning of my journey, I used to stay up at night thinking like, oh my God, like they're going to shut me down at some point. My business is going to disappear. You don't have to freak out. You just have to be a little bit careful. I want to go through a few pointers today, areas where people sometimes go wrong, silly mistakes that they make that lead to eventual account deletion, suspension, permanent suspension. And you can have a look at why this happens occasionally and make sure it definitely doesn't happen for you. So let's go through a few things, right? Now, the first thing that Amazon get really annoyed about is if you try and create multiple accounts. Right? If you have more than one Amazon account and you haven't actually asked Amazon whether this is okay, they really, really hate it. And this is especially true for stealth accounts. I don't know if you can see that there, it's kind of off camera. Stealth accounts, right? What a stealth account is if you try and create an account with somebody else's details, so you can run two accounts simultaneously for whatever reason. Or maybe you already had an account suspended and you want to reopen a new account with fake details and things. Amazon absolutely hate this. They're like the FBI. Okay, they're going to track your IP address, take the details of your computer, your screen resolution, your whereabouts, what Wi-Fi you use, get all this data, figure out that it's still you using the account. Even if you use a VPN, sometimes they've actually been known to get through these things and still discover it, find out what your new account is and shut you down. Like, when you are using the computer, you leave a digital trail around the internet, and something is going to get picked up by them. It could be like your billing details, it could be the fact that you're under the same roof, using the same IP address. So whatever it is, please don't try to have multiple accounts. Definitely don't create stealth accounts, because they just can't stand it. And it's kind of understandable. Like, they don't want you to cheat the system in any way. So just have one account. If you need to open a second account, ask permission first. The next thing, which is something kind of obvious, which most of you won't do, but one of my friends actually, for some reason, did this and managed to get his account shut down. And one thing Amazon cannot stand and will ban you instantly for is for sending in fake documents. Now, I don't know what would possess you to actually do this. Maybe if you're too lazy to get an official bank statement, so you try and Photoshop in some details for a more recent date or something like that. They know when you're doctoring documents, right? They are literally on this stuff because it's a case of national security. If you try and fake official documents, you could be a terrorist, you could be someone who's dealing with arms dealing, money trafficking. This is like real stuff, okay? So whatever you do, don't submit fake documents to Amazon. It'll pretty much be an instant ban. Another thing where people sometimes trip up is when they, for some reason, repeatedly and consistently continue to sell bad products. This is something that in the beginning you'll probably get away with. Like, if you've got some products like a load of electronics or something which are faulty, you keep getting returns, bad feedback, negative reviews from customers. In the beginning you'll probably get away with it to a certain extent. You'll get a couple of warnings, but after a while, as it starts to build up and Amazon really start to see that your metrics, your return rates are being completely flawed, then these things are really going to annoy Amazon and actually end up getting your account shut down as well. So whatever you do, make sure you're sourcing good products. Don't settle for things that you're not too sure about, dodgy electronics from China, things that are fake, anything that could annoy customers at the end of the day because there's some kind of dishonesty going on, avoid. Okay, pretty simple. If you source good products, you're not going to get into any problems. Now the same thing actually goes for the wrong products. If you've listed something on a listing on Amazon and it claims it's a certain EAN, a certain model number, a certain product, but the product you're actually selling is different, the customer receives the wrong product, again, the customer's going to be annoyed, your metrics are going to get destroyed, and this could lead to account suspension. Now obviously, again, this isn't necessarily something you're doing on purpose, so Amazon get it. If you've made a mistake, it's okay, but if you do this kind of thing repeatedly, then it could definitely lead to account suspension in the long run. So just be careful when you're listing products. Make sure you're checking the EAN numbers to see if they're the same as on the box of the thing you bought to the listing on Amazon. Just type in the EAN on Amazon and it should come up with the right product. If the listing is wrong, but the EAN is correct, you're actually safe. Okay, so a really easy way to avoid that problem. Another thing might screw you up that could happen if you're doing a strategy that doesn't involve fulfillment by Amazon, so you're fulfilling products by yourself, merchant fulfilled, is, so if you can see my appalling handwriting there, it says merchant fulfilled metrics. Now if you go to the button on the left hand side of your Seller Central that says account health, you'll notice if you're doing any merchant fulfilled strategies that there's a whole host of things that Amazon want you to take care of whilst you're running your business. Things like order defect rate. Anytime you get a negative feedback or an A to Z claim or anything like that, Amazon are going to put a black mark on your account, and you need to have less than 1% of your orders having defects, right? So if you sell 100 products, you need to have one absolute maximum with something that's gone wrong. So you really need to make sure you're delivering stuff on time, delivering good products to the customers, answering their messages as quickly as possible, just to keep track of these merchant fulfillment metrics. And to be honest with you, again, it's not something that you need to freak out about. Just make sure you've got systems in place to make sure these metrics are solid. If customer service or order fulfillment starts to become really cumbersome and time consuming, then just outsource it, like hire someone else to actually manage this stuff for you. This is what I've done. I've got a customer service guy. I've actually got 5 or 6 VAs which work for me and help me with different areas of my Amazon business. And keeping these metrics in check is important, and you don't really want to be doing it all yourself, like answering messages from customers and things. So hire people to do this for you, and if you want me to do another video on hiring, I'll do that as well. As a general point, one thing you really do need to be careful of is Amazon's terms and conditions. Now, the thing is with them is they actually change all the time. Like every week or two, there's a slight new clause or slight new paragraph in Amazon's terms and conditions. Now, it's nothing to really get too OCD about, too obsessed with, but just make sure you're keeping an eye on any updates that they've had. Like recently, there's been an update to the review policy. Okay, so Amazon turned around and said, actually, we don't want you to be getting incentivized reviews anymore. No 50% off in exchange for a review, etc., things like that. We want you to get genuine reviews from real customers who bought your product at full price. Or you can do promotions and then ask for a review as long as it's not been done in exchange for one. That's one of those things that might have tripped a few people up. Like I still see these groups on Facebook where people are offering promotions in exchange for reviews. It's not safe. Like you need to make sure you're keeping an eye on that. So really easy way to deal with it is just on your Seller Central, whenever a new headline comes up, they have like a news section right in the middle of your Seller Central account. Just keep an eye out for any new updates that happen. Don't wait for people like me or gurus or, you know, people with podcasts or courses to tell you what's going on in Amazon's terms and conditions. You know, use a bit of common sense and do a bit of research yourself. It's really not that hard to keep track of them, and if you just keep an eye on it, really, it's nothing to worry about too much. But if you breach their terms and conditions over and over and over and over again, obviously they're going to see that you're not really a good fit to sell on their platform, to be a part of their massively growing platform. They're probably going to kick you off pretty quickly. So just keep an eye on them. Again, nothing to stress about, but it is kind of important that you keep an eye on those headlines in the news feed to see if there's any updates. One more thing which I see happening is when people send in bad FBA shipments repeatedly. And you know, FBA is great. FBA is an amazing business model because you don't have to worry about these merchant fulfilled metrics. You don't have to worry about getting products to customers on time. It's all handled for you by Amazon. But if you kind of screw up the way you are putting products into boxes and sending them in, getting the SKUs wrong, missing out products and just making it a real pain for Amazon to actually manage all your shipments, then you could actually get in a little bit of trouble with that. So when you're putting together your shipments and things ready to send into Amazon, just check that they're correct, right? I mean, you can do the new lists that you can do for the shipments. They give you like a printout, or like not a printout, but you can download a text file and enter the amount of units you've put in to make it easier for them when it gets to the warehouse. Make sure you've got all those things in check, you're sending in the right products, and just make sure everything's done with a little bit of care. My recommendation for this actually is to not even pack products yourself and instead use a prep center. There's loads of them around. You can send your products to the prep center. They will prepare everything and send it into Amazon on your behalf. It saves you having to worry about all the prep and getting everything ready for FBA because, let's face it, it's dull. We want to be focusing on managing and overseeing all the things going on in our business, not putting in all the labor ourselves. But that's a point for another video, okay? So make sure this FBA stuff is nice and neat. Your shipments are going in, you know, well prepared. So Amazon give you brownie points for that. And again, it will avoid any problems with your account. So now we focus on all the negatives, right? I'm going to take a couple of minutes to do the opposite. And instead of talking about how to get your account shut down, let's talk about a few simple things you can do just to make sure your account is in 100% health the whole time you're selling on Amazon, to future-proof your business and make sure you don't get in any trouble or have to stay awake at night worrying about the fact that your account could get suspended at some point. So the first thing I'd say to any Amazon seller, if you haven't done already, is this. Get some education on how to set up a proper Amazon business. Join a course, get a mentor, read a book, look at loads of videos and just get educated on how to do these things properly. Don't dive in with the mentality of getting rich quick or just trying to make an easy buck or fly under the radar and, you know, trick the system. Instead, just learn how to build a really strong business with a solid foundation. And the best way to do that is to join a course and get really educated on how this stuff actually works. Once you've done that and you understand the fundamentals, it will really help you prevent getting into any trouble with Amazon, getting on their nerves. And I'm sure the person running the course will give you a few pointers about how to stay within Amazon's terms and conditions without you having to read every single paragraph of them. I mean, they go on for ages. So anything you can have that will be a bit of a shortcut to that, make sure you stay within the lines, is really, really useful. Like I said before, when I was talking about terms and conditions, every time there's a new headline, a new bit of news in your Seller Central account, make sure you're reading the terms and conditions. Like, there'll be a few updates occasionally. Just try and keep it, you know, up to date with what's happening with Amazon's terms and conditions. They change them because their business is constantly evolving. So obviously their terms and conditions have to evolve as well. As they evolve, us Amazon sellers, we have to evolve with them. And you know, it's a massive privilege to be able to sell on their platform. But in order to be able to do that and not have to create our own website, do our own fulfillment and all that stuff, we just need to do them a favor and make sure we're following all their terms and conditions. Maybe kind of an obvious point is when you're running your business and you're sourcing stock, make sure it's good quality stock, right? Nothing you send into your Amazon account should really be something you wouldn't buy yourself. If you're sourcing new private label products, always get a sample first, try it out, feel it in your hands. Does it do the thing it's supposed to do effectively? Are the customers going to be happy with the product you're selling? And never buy anything that's listed on Amazon already that has less than 2.5 star reviews overall, right? So we want 3 reviews and up, ideally, because then we know that customers are happy with the product. We're not going to run into problems, get too many returns or anything like that. And that's just a good benchmark if we're reselling things, arbitrage and stuff. Buying things that have like a 1-star review, if it's got like a couple hundred reviews, obviously it's a bad product. You're just going to open yourself into a world of pain, no matter what the profit is, no matter how good it sells. We want it to be good quality stock. This will avoid us running into any issues. And finally, this is a point that I think has to be made, even though it might sound a little bit juvenile, is always just use common sense. Just think about the things from a user perspective. If you were a customer, an Amazon customer, what would you expect from a seller? In terms of shipping products on time, what kind of stock you're selling, customer service that's provided, what would you expect? Use a little bit of common sense. Don't freak out too much about changes in terms and conditions and things. These are the kind of things that separate real entrepreneurs from people who are just never going to make it, right? Get over it. The fact that we have to sell on Amazon is amazing. The fact that we get to use their platform to sell our products without having to worry about marketing is a real awesome opportunity. So just use a little bit of common sense. Don't freak out about getting your account shut down. I know some people, lay awake at night scared about these things, but it's not going to happen as long as you use a bit of common sense and follow these points I've talked about in the video. Thanks so much for watching. There's a couple links for you in the description to help you further your Amazon business, get going with this stuff, get a little bit more education, make more income, and I can't wait to make more videos for you. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Keep believing.